Hey guys, welcome back to another one. So today I want to do something a little bit different. I want to talk about fly rods. I get a lot of questions from clients and just buddies who are a little fly curious, as Hank Patterson would say. So I got my GoPro shooting a time lapse here. Should come out pretty cool. I figure while I'm letting that run, I would sit down and talk about some fly rods, try to answer some questions that I've been getting. So stay tuned. Alright, so the first rod I want to talk about, newly acquired, is this. It's an 8-foot 4-weight Redington. It's the Path. You can get these in an outfit, so you get the rod, the reel, the line, your backing. It's even got a leader tied onto it already. All you gotta do is pull it out of the package and tie a fly on. But this is it's just a great all-around size. I really like the 8.4. It's not so long that you can't fish it on little creeks, but it's long enough that you can fish some bigger water with it. 4-weight's plenty heavy enough to throw indicator rigs, or perfect for dry flies. You know, just a really great do-everything rod. And I actually started out with a rod very similar to this in an 8.4, and caught a ton of fish on it, and caught the biggest trout of my life on it, and it handled it just fine. So I like the 4-weight because it's a little light. It's a little lighter than a 5-weight, which helps protect tippet. You know, up here in the mountains, especially in the summertime when we get this low clear water, you really need to use a fine tippet like a 7X, a 6X, even 8X sometimes. And you need a rod that's got a lot of cushion in it to help protect that tippet so you don't break fish off. You know, a lot of guys go straight for the 9.5, which is a great all-around rod. I actually don't even own a 9.5. I'll probably be my next purchase, but I think the 8.4 will do everything a 9.5 will, and then some, because it allows you to fish some smaller water that the 9.5 wouldn't be the greatest on. Alright, this next rod I picked up, is a 7.6, it's a 7'6" 2-weight. This is the Redington Classic Trout. Really pretty rod. I've got it paired with this Redington Zero reel. It's a 2.3 size reel, and I got a Rio, I can't remember what they call it. It's the light line or something like that, the light trout. It's basically made for slower action rods like your bamboo, your fiberglass, just slow graphite like this happens to be. It does okay. I kind of think I'd be happier with like a Rio Gold or just a regular 2-weight line, floating line, but I think this will work for now. But I got this rod for doing, well, mainly to guide with, but this is specifically just for small creek stuff. So it's a 2-weight, which, if you guys don't know, when you got fly rods, you have different weights. So they go all the way up from like half weight to a 12-weight. That is basically how much power the rod has, kind of how stiff it is, how heavy it is. So your 0-weight, your 1-weight, your 2-weight like this is going to be really light, really good for small trout, smaller flies. You know, I always tell people you're not necessarily pairing the weight of rod with the size of fish you're catching. I mean, you could catch a monster fish on this 2-weight if you were careful, but you're more pairing it to the size of flies you want to throw. So this 2.8 is not going to throw a big fly. This is primarily dry fly. Possibly a small dropper, nothing too heavy, but this is a small creek, wild, dry fly rod. And I haven't fished it yet, but I've casted it a bunch. I really like the way it feels. I think I'm going to be pretty happy with it. I think clients are too. So the next rod I picked up, and this one is not for guiding. This one is for me. This is my baby. This is the new Sage ESN. They just came out with. It's a redesign of the old ESN, which a lot of folks say is the finest nymphing rod on the planet, and after fishing this one I would have to agree, but they have really improved some things on it. The only complaint I ever heard for the old rod was that it was just too fast. It had that tip flex, a lot of backbone, and a lot of people liked it, but a lot of folks just complained it was just too fast. And this rod has the Kinetic HD technology, which it sounds like a bunch of marketing mumbo jumbo to me, but it's supposedly it rebounds faster. It allows you to have a faster rod, but a lighter weight rod. So, I mean, it is super light, just light as a feather, which makes it really sweet to fish all day long. They put a down locking reel seat on it, as opposed to an up locking reel seat, which you'll see on pretty much any other fly rod like this one. And that just means your reel, the nut that tightens in and holds your reel in place, goes up on an up locking reel seat, and obviously down on a down locking reel seat. And what that does, what the advantage of that is it moves your reel further back and it balances the rod better. So I've got a really lightweight reel on here. This is a Hardy Ultralight 3000, and it just, I mean, you guys can see it just balances it out perfect. But super sensitive. I've fished it a couple times now. Super sensitive, super light. Really like this rod. And you can actually cast a dry dropper with it. I even put an indicator on it and fished that for a little while just to see if it could, and it handled it no problem. So really sweet rod. It's a lot of money. They're super pricey unless you get the pro deal, but I think it's worth it. If you're looking to spend some money on a really high-end nymphing rod, I don't think you can beat this one. Another thing I'd like to mention is, so you've got your rod length, and they go anywhere from 5-6 feet all the way up to 12 feet. And you're these big two-handed spey rods. And you've got your line weights, which is what the rod is designed, the type of line that the rod is designed to cast. And then you've got your action. So you've got slow, medium fast, fast action. For a beginner caster, I would definitely stay away from the super fast rods because they're going to be harder to cast. So I would stay with a slower action rod, not necessarily like a fiberglass rod, which is going to be really super slow, but like a medium fast, which is, I would say this Redington here, this 8.4, I keep talking about, I just think this is the perfect beginner setup, but it's a medium fast. It's not so fast that it's hard to cast, but it's fast enough where you can throw just about anything you wanted to with it. But it bends, it bends way down in the butt section, which it helps you when you're casting. You can really feel the rod loading up. You can get a sense of the timing in your casting stroke. With those fast rods, you don't have as much feel when you're casting them, and it can make it really difficult if you're just learning. If you guys have any questions, if you're just getting into fly fishing, you want to pick up a rod and don't know what to get, I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, feel free to comment. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys might have. And if you have your own opinions about what makes a great starter fly rod, feel free to let me know, comment. Why don't we see how that time lapse came out? that's it. I hope you enjoyed the time lapse. Hope you guys learned something. And remember, you can't catch them from the couch.